You and me, Kelly, before?
Yeah.
They ranked it up close.
Got on the expressway.
What's your name?
I heard something.
Oh, back.
You know.
Okay.
I just looked in my mirror and I saw rolling down the road.
So instead of doing cases in each individual.
Started walking back.
They're just doing it
I think I got
Was
it.
that, you know, waiting for traffic to clear up.
All right, wait a minute.
Or around. Luckily, it has one of those otter boxes on it. The only thing it did to us crack the screen.
This
It didn't
thing,
break the otter box, but they gave me a new one and cracked the screen.
this is push this thing down in the
Yeah, I can imagine the
kind
trouble.
of dirt a little bit, a little bit of rock. And you put a U-print in the ground. Think you got it wrong?
Right on there.
Good big old rock. I went up there today and there it was.
How do you like that service?
Push it, and I rode her all the way down there. And I looked around where I was going with it, and I thought, man, find a little different spot. And I found a different spot, and I just pushed it over in the ditch and put it up the dirt.
Is that long enough, honey? My mom.
I'm glad I got it 30 foot for that. You're supposed to bed the steel pipe with line.
I usually let it. Usually it's in the, well, they're supposed to be ready for 40,000 pounds, but that's only if you're supposed to get it covered. I got it.
Apparently,
Oh, you'll be good.
we've got a trial scheduled July 1 because pool jurors, and I guess the new jury pool comes in maybe July.
They've been on there. That pipe down there is your place, they look at them plastic or in that.
And then I've got a financial case.
You want them big ones they put in?
Well, y'all want to do that.
They're plastic, ain't they?
See what this one?
You know where you took the concrete ones out and put the plastic ones in?
They're also supposed to be ready
That's digging.
for 40,000 pounds. Matter of cut.
We put,
It's
I don't know if they're 5 foot or how big they are. Down there in the dug, I just go to rock and dirt head around the area there. And we go in out there, drain first,
I'm taking.
So we just, hanging out and do like,
kind of.
calm down over it. Tear it up. Huh?
Also flip the table. Chris is
I
scared.
don't know what the deadline is, man. I only got a couple of roads. I'll give them people, I figure I'll give people this fiscal year, right? Well, when's the hard date on, if we got any roads we want to submit these?
We're actually gonna talk about it right now, son.
Chandler lost was on there. Get his from. It's terrible.
I don't know if it's private or county.
It's got a green and white sign on it. So I was gonna call,
Todd, man.
Todd and ask him, you know, the beds.
Not really.
Well, I've got a book where he
Heard of it.
hollered at me.
They have my one
Check
doctor
it out.
every day.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
I forgot that thing.
Yeah, I drove up there
About
today.
all of them.
I think I drove up there once.
Supposed to be the cancer doctor and the surgeon and the radiation doctor, so I guess I'll find out how much more doctor.
Right, one of the short ones in that old place called, I think it's a lead court, I get the picture on top of it. And the other one is
Getting close to healing up, so
swayed it right.
you can take a little girl almost over
Oh, that gets my.
It looks like it's almost back to.
I think the was in there, like Allen Place.
Well, I think they redid the main drag a while back.
Well, I got, I don't know if you need one.
There was two there.
Well, one thing about things that I got.
You're welcome.
Getting ready to discuss.
Want to call the county road aid public hearing into session. This is a public hearing will be held at Spencer County Fiscal Court, court's meeting room today at this time, May 19th, 2025, 6:30, for the purpose of obtaining citizens' comments regarding the possible uses of the county road aid, CRA, and/or local government economic assistance, WEA, funds. The regular meeting of the fiscal court will immediately follow at 7 o'clock. All interested persons in Spencer County are invited to this hearing. They can submit verbal or written comments on possible uses of these funds. Any person who cannot submit written comments can attend this hearing tonight, or you can submit comments by 4 o'clock today at my office. I don't have any to present that I was given. That was on the cover sheet that I passed out. We did put a county ad in, ran it in the magazine on May the 8th. Under the KRS 174.100, that any unit of local government that expends state-derived tax revenues on state rural secondary county road, or municipal highway, road, street, or county or municipal bridge, it shall provide an opportunity for the public to provide input at a public meeting for which notice has been given. And we have done that. That obligation? Yes. Well, I was going to do it like a hearing. Do I need to call the roll, Doug?
I'm going to use it before.
Yeah, well, it's a, we got a little debate on that. Basically, it's being a public hearing, but, well, since we are in good shape, Madam Clerk, if you would call the roll for our public hearing, please.
Squire Stump.
Here.
Squire Harris.
Here.
Squire Eldridge.
Here.
Judge Travis.
Here.
Squire Travis. Squire Cox.
All right, so we have a form on the floor, and we'll do the prayer and the pledge at the next meeting here in a few minutes. So we'll continue on the third page. We've got some things going that are in progress. Don't let all these dollar amounts run you over. But we got $1,067,591.48 in county road aid fund receipts, plus additional $230,000 in truck license to come in, Doug. Is that right?
Sounds close, anyway.
I know when we went on those budget trainings, there's a number about that amount. I know Mike and I was at E-Town in one training, they had that truck number that comes in.
Truck license, we budgeted 234.
Okay. So, but that's why we're having this hearing tonight. Now, if you look at the bottom of that page that I passed out, we're looking about replacing that bridge on Roberts Road. Now, that's 1.4 million, so you're saying, well, there won't be no money for nothing. But we are attempting to get that done in that CCVIP bridge replacement deal. So it's in the works. And will it get some of those funds? It could. It could get a portion of those. The next line where it says CPPP, which used to be discretionary, I know we're not going to get any of that this year. We did get 280 or so thousand last year. So hopes are we'll get some next go around next year. And then of course we have a lot of FEMA disasters. We're waiting to get a declaration on the 1st of April. Robert, correct me? And then we did get a declaration on one in February, and a lot of these projects are still up and going.
We haven't heard anything on Murray Road.
No, from that,
No, that's part of the April.
April.
That's all looped in the same thing.
yeah, and the one on Mary Road, right now cannot be a FEMA program. Until we get that federal declaration. I talked to Senator Higdon this morning, and it's basically up to the federal folks now to make that declaration, which I have reached out to Congressman Massey's office, Senator Paul's office, and Senator McConnell's office, to their folks, tell them the need for it. That basically we were already spending money on Murray Road when we bought the railroad track and guardrail and so forth. And I told Senator Higdon this morning that could easily be a $80,000 to $100,000 project before we get it done. And our threshold or more, the threshold to meet the need is only like 90 or so thousand. So just that one disaster alone, yes, yeah, we're good shape. And I asked Robert to get us some numbers together, and I think it was 600 and some thousand damage.
The April storm, we're about 665, and we're at like 2.3 for
Million for the February
So
storm.
we're at about 2.9 total.
Yeah, of course, the February storm, we're good. We're good on it, and work has been in progress. Any of your roads that you travel, if you see orange paint, that was probably Airbnb, Todd, and ER Assist working on damage assessment.
Where'd you say it last time?
If you remember, there was a couple ladies came, Erin, McCauley, and Lauren. I forget Lauren's last name.
Are they from the state?
Well, it's a company that Robert.
Yeah, well, it's a company, ER6, they call it ER6. We all signed an agreement to let them handle all our federal FEMA grant writing stuff.
They're supposed to help us document.
Yeah,
That's right.
I remember that.
Documentation and all that stuff
Yeah.
for us.
I remember that.
And it's actually worked out well because they're doing the legwork and they're out, spotting, they're coming to meeting with the FEMA folks, documenting, taking pictures.
What are they saying about this April?
I talked to Erin a couple days ago, and she's hopeful any day now, but it's been any day now for the last 2 weeks.
Since then.
Hurry up, wait, right?
Yeah.
So, I feel pretty confident that, I hope that'll come through for us, but if it doesn't, the Murray Road project, we could probably do on an 80-20 ordeal from the state, but it's going to, we used that 80-20 deal last year on Masters Lane, we were doing it pipe, and then on, over Tipton, where that block wall fell in, we used that 80-20 for those two. If we have to use it on this Murray Road, then any other project that comes along, we'll have to use our own nickel on it. But basically, this time is set up for anyone in the community that would like to address us. And I would open it up to you guys. It's a good time to have discussion on some of you all's roads that, we could just kind of put a list together.
You declared an emergency on Friday, but we don't know if that's going to be approved or anything or not either.
Well, my emergency declaration can stand. Robert, do you have a rough assessment of the damage from Friday?
The only thing I've heard about it is all debris treatment, it's in that category C up there.
Okay.
It's all debris cleanup. I spoke with Karen Spencer today, and she spoke with the state about the permit, and they said just keep carrying on from the previous permit.
Yeah.
So if you want to let people know that
It's,
stuff at Fairground Road and non-natural material can go to recycling and those stuff.
it's,
That's the Kentucky units provider.
basically, we still have dumpsters at the recycling center for storm cleanup. And then tree limbs, stuff that grows, that blew down, we have a debris pile at the fairgrounds, not the fairgrounds, the road department. They're open daily during business hours, and you can drop off, and the state will oversee us burning that pile a little bit down the road. We've actually been piling in that pile, I guess, since up in the winter, when we had the ice storm. I think it's when we started. And, we all think about we had the big storm our 1st of January, and then we had the big flood there about Valentine's Day, and then we had the April 2nd disaster. And then this Friday night, we had a lot of trees down. And now we got tomorrow coming up. But basically, you guys that are here, I'll speak on behalf of Zach a little bit. We're in the same district. But if you all have some roads that you'd like us to write down, we'll put on a list, and then we'll have the sections further down the road and we'll start picking places to work. And then Mike, you had some.
Sway Drive. It's off the Plum Ridge Road, and Lee Court, and Allen Place also. And I might have a couple more, but that'd be a good start.
I have a list of going to Griffin Street and past Mitchell Lane.
Okay.
Creekside, that's the only one that I have, that's, gonna take a lot of work paving.
It's low, it's low too.
It's part of it's, yeah. Part of it's going down the hill.
So it's a miracle incident. Also don't do a Murray Road.
We, Lakeview Drive, it's up at the end of Holden Road,
Yeah.
over in Zach's district.
Lakeside.
Lakeside.
Lakeside is in.
No, you're right, it's very good.
Y'all may know, Lakeview up there off Holden Road, with Blacktop Holden, but Lakeview's in pretty bad shape. I mean, that's a road in our district. And then also Oaks Lane, pretty bad shape.
Lakeview Drive.
I know, fortunately, it's good for me in Elk Creek District. I'm happy that we've done a lot of work fixing the roads the last 2.5, basically 2 years, and what we've done this year. We've made investments. We spent that $280, and then we spent our flex money twice, and then we used the budgeted money, a lot. We've probably easily done $1 million worth of blacktop.
I was thinking, and we're on Murray Road, that road per capita probably gets more heavy commercial traffic than pretty much any other road as far as county.
There's a lot of sign on it.
Well, there's a sod farm, dirt farm, every truck, there's probably 100 trucks going in and out there a day that they already.
There's a lot of heavy stuff in the pipe.
Yeah, well, and I was thinking about, as I've been the last couple of weeks when I've been going back through there, that on the upper side of that road, you can just go down there and the water is just standing. And I'm sure that as it stands, it seeps underneath of that road. And I really think that we ought to consider doing some ditch work along that upper side and putting in some periodic cross drains.
They're there.
Oh, okay. We just did the ditch work and get them cleaned out. Well, it's just sediment. I know that can't be good for the road base as it seeps through, so to prevent a future incident that could be worse.
Right, and that happened to, I went down there as well, exactly what she said, and started paying attention. And actually found 2 or 3 culverts, but the dirt is up over the culverts.
Well, I saw a couple, and I thought, well, maybe they're just not, maybe we need a couple more and then clean out the ones we currently got. And man, it just needs to do some ditch work, it's all pretty much filled in. It was just a thought.
Well, I agree, totally agree. The sad part is we've got lots of those.
The only reason why I brought that up is because of the
Traffic.
The commercial traffic on this is more than
The
regular.
tip of the road, I agree with that.
That wasn't even
walking the
Well, yeah, definitely. Well, that would be, yeah, but it would cost me a lot, man, as maybe just a quicker fix that would maybe slow any kind of erosion or road base or anything. I just thought if we could address the ditch work to get it to drain through the cross drains, that
I
would
know,
start.
I know the rails, those are drilling, drill all down that rock.
Right.
Right. Well,
But it's got more water in the road.
the road didn't collapse where the other railing was at. It started where it ended. And, I think that what we're getting ready to do will help that, but if something like that happen again, if that water keeps seeping on the road. And then we can clean ditches out and then replace some of those tiles. It's not terribly expensive.
Or you might just clean it out, find the tiles are good, they just need to just clean up, get it cleaned out.
Well, the goal would be when we're down there working, fixing that mess part, we'll address it then. So, any other discussion on the roads?
I will tell you, this year on Flex, it's been over 178,000, 272,000 on discretionary, and then on asphalt, county roads, it's 323,000.
So we 323 and then 270, and how much was the other 170?
178. And then, of course, on patching, York County roads, we spent $29,004.
That's about 460, and then budgeted was how much? How much?
323,640.
483, 780,000 this last year. Put that low. Corey, you got any roads? Chris, Robert, you don't have any roads? Laura? It is 6:55 and I'll wait and cancel the meeting at 6:59 and we'll need to start the next meeting. If somebody comes in.
You got all your stuff planned with you?
Already done.
It's gonna be a while, last time, I watched the weather, and they said they thought like a big inch or two.
See, Friday night
Start tonight.
in the morning.
It's gonna be early in the morning, you consider it. I think about between 4 and 6 is awesome. But it's gonna rain 10 to 12, and it's gonna have a big storm. And then the bad stuff's supposed to come between around 7 and 8.
I guess Friday.
Mine just kind of dimmed down real dim, and it came back up, that's all. I was like, hey, you want me?
Really severe one.
Mine was out there for a long time.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
There was some people on
You got
our
to be
street
like
that didn't get back to
3:30 the next day, I'm like, I'm gonna be generator
Back in
for my freezer.
January, I was off 3 days, 3 or 4 days.
Nice.
I was the last one, the poles down in the field going to my house. When you got two, you need to fix them.
Yeah,
Fix
when you're a single guy, you go by
But when you're on the end, when you got one house on the end, that's it. No, it rained 2 inches or so Friday evening, Friday night. And this afternoon was like, really bad. Saturday, the wind and the sunshine Saturday, really, I mean, it's only dry on top. And then, of course, today, hoping to get another thing in here.
rain.
Yeah, but, but it's only in the dryer, but the wetter end is gonna be a bit. right, let's, at 6:58, I will go ahead and we'll adjourn that meeting, declare that hearing adjourned. Now, before we start, our next meeting is a morning meeting. We're gonna have a hearing again, because we have to do a hearing on the land and water conservation grant. Then the same meeting, we got 2 minutes. How are you?
Good, how are you guys?
You don't want to talk about roads, do you?
Sorry,
You want to talk about roads?
I have no desire to talk about roads.
Oh, all right.
I'm just
We're
listening.
good. We just had a road hearing and it was to last until 7 o'clock.
Oh, okay, no, sir.
6:59.
No, sir, you're good.
Okay. But also the state folks is coming. We'll have the district road department come. They're gonna come at the next meeting in the morning also. So we'll probably have the hearing 30 minutes like this one, and then send it to the start of the next meeting. I'll let those guys talk. The trail procedures.
Yeah, well, that's still, cut one that tree. It's like they go out to the tree limb and they hang a plumb bob from it, and then it comes down right on the edge of the road, it's cut it right there, right there.
All right, well, it's 7 o'clock. Welcome everyone to our May 19th meeting. We'll go ahead and get started. If you choose to join with us, Mike, would you open us in a word of prayer, please?
Lord, thank you so much for this beautiful day that you've given us, an opportunity to gather here and discuss the county's business. And Lord, we just want to thank you so much for delivering us without any bad damage from the last Travis storms we went through. But at the same time, Lord, we want to just pray for all the people that lost loved ones, especially in London, Kentucky, and St. Louis, and Bloomington, Indiana. It was a terrible situation, and Lord, we just pray that you give them guidance and comfort in their time of need and help them through their time of grief. And Lord, we just pray that if there's any need that Spencer County can fulfill for them, that the opportunity presents itself to us, that we'll be more than happy to help with that. Lord, as we got the sports storms coming up tomorrow, we just ask for put a hedge of protection around all the fine people of our county and keep us safe through that, and be with all of our emergency responders through that. Lord, as we go through this meeting tonight, just help us to make decisions the best that we can and be pleasing and acceptable in your sight. And we just thank you for all the blessings that you bestow on our county and its citizens. And Lord, we just don't take it for granted. And just be with us tonight and keep us safe. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. If you would, join and salute our flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, if you would, call the roll, please.
Squire Ferris,
Here.
Squire Eldridge,
Here.
Judge Travis,
Here.
Squire Travis, Squire Cotton, Squire Stone.
Here. All right, we have a quorum. I know that Jim, I think is taking some time off, so I'm pretty sure he won't be here, and I believe Zach is maybe going to join us. But we do have a quorum, so we can go ahead and get started. I wanted to, I failed to, but I wanted to mention graduation is this Thursday. And you all correct me if I'm wrong, it's the last day of school Thursday for everyone. So, when you do, if you choose to pray at home or pray or have moments of silence, so let's remember our graduates and let's remember our students. And hopefully everything will work out good for them. We have a lot to congratulate them about. So let's keep those folks in our thoughts. First item on the agenda is approval of the minutes. And I had one question on page 12, Laura. I thought there was one item that we didn't tell the votes. We didn't have time to watch it. I thought that we voted on it. Right in the center of the page where we did ordered the first reading of the budget amendment. Number 2, it said motion by Squire Cotton, second by Squire Eldridge, hereby order to approve. But it doesn't say how the votes work. Y'all remember if we voted on that or not? I was thinking that we did. But maybe Laura, you can check on that and see. And then just make that change. But that's all that I saw. So I'll be, yeah, love you. I'll be happy to, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes with the small change on page 12 being made. All right, we have a motion by myself, seconded by Will, to approve the minutes with the small change on page 12. Is there any other discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. I'll go ahead and sign your minutes and you can make those changes. Laura? I'll put a check on that. You can press it down and get that done. Anytime you can do one less thing, good deal. At this time, we'll have communications from the citizens. If anyone in the audience would like to address us. Would you like to address us? All right. Catherine, you good? All right. All right, thanks for joining us. All right, we'll go ahead to communications from County Judge Executive. I've got a couple of, to the right page, couple of proclamations. Here we go. Yeah, it is EMS week, and basically designate the week of May 18th to the 24th, Emergency Medical Services Week. And Emergency Medical Services is a vital public service, and members of the Emergency Medical Services teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness and injury. And Emergency Medical Service fulfills healthcare gaps by providing important out-of-hospital care, including preventative medicine, follow-up care, and access to telemedicine. And the Emergency Medical Services system consists of first responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, emergency medical dispatchers, firefighters, police officers, educators, administrators, pre-hospital nurses, emergency physicians, trained members of the public, and other out-of-hospital medical care providers, and members of the Emergency Medical Services teams, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. And it is appropriate to recognize the value and the accomplishments of emergency medical services providers by designating the Emergency Medical Services Week. Now, therefore, I, Scott Travis, County Judge, Taylorville, Kentucky, in recognition of this event, do hereby proclaim the week of May 18th through 24th as Emergency Medical Services Week. And the 51st anniversary of EMS Week theme is We Care for Everyone. I encourage the community to observe this week and appropriate programs, ceremonies, activities in honor of EMS profession and the essential service it provides. Robert, would you like to make any statements? Chris? Not to put you on the spot.
No, I mean, I appreciate the proclamation. We discuss the job of the team every day. It's not an easy job. Sometimes it becomes very unappreciated sometimes.
Well, all I know is, since I got on Facebook a few years ago, it seems like 2-3 times a day. Yesterday, this weekend, you guys are at the lake twice, or on the river and at the lake. And when I say you guys, it's the fire department, Taylorsville, Spencer County Fire District, the EMS department, the sheriff's office, the city police officers. They're having a meeting tonight, and the city is, I think. So, I know we're declaring an EMS week, but we are very thankful for all of our first responders. And, again, how many runs that we have to do, how many lives we save, and when you need them and they're there, it means a whole lot. So, thank you all for that. And I have one other proclamation. It is also Building Safety Month, and I'll abbreviate this. Whereas our county is committed to recognizing that our growth and strength depends on the safety and essential role our homes, buildings, and infrastructure play both in everyday life and when disasters strike. And it talks about different things. Game On is the theme for Building Safety Month 2025. Encourages all to get involved to raise awareness about building safety on a personal, local, and global scale. And each year in observance of Building Safety Month, people all over the world are asked to consider the commitment to improve building safety, resilience, and economic investment at home and in the community, and to acknowledge the essential service provided to all of us by local, state, tribal, territorial, and federal building safety and fire prevention departments in protecting lives and property. Therefore, I, Scott Travis, Judge Executive of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, to hereby proclaim the month of May 25 as Building Safety Month accordingly, and I encourage our citizens to join us as we participate in Building Safety Month awareness to proclaim this 19th day of May. So I want to thank them for that. As we think about the past building and buildings, the essential need of a roof over your head has been met. Is it, reckon camera's going to that? We get her going?
No, they're going, I know.
It's on? All right, good deal.
I double checked it.
Okay, good deal. Thank you all for working on that. But, what we have nowadays and what we had years ago, a lot of improvements have been made, so we're thankful for that. So I wanted to get those two mentioned. And I did declare a state of emergency last Friday for the storm, and kind of how I watch and do that when we've got something bad happening or potentially bad happening, and the governor declares a state of emergency. Robert and I always have conversations about it, and just out of the potential need that could arise, we go ahead and follow suit, and then that way we can take action quicker after that takes place. So we did do that last Friday. That's all the communications that I have. I will now turn it over to Angie under F, under zoning.
What page are you on?
32 in your packet, in your book.
I've actually got a book, paper
You
book.
skipping over that?
I need one.
Skipping over that land, water?
Did I skip it? Yeah, I'll come back to it after Angie.
Okay.
Thank you for that. That was important.
I won't be long, it's quite a reading.
All right.
You're on second one, in case you wonder about the reordinance and all, we did not get the minutes approved and did not make the paper, so we can't do,
Okay,
so it's not, so I've got one first reading.
okay, all right.
We have the, application, it was of Christopher David Redmond in Little Mount Baptist Church, requesting an Ag 1 agricultural to R1 residential on 0.388 acres located at 6041 Little Mount Road, Highway 44. Commissioner Greenville made a motion to recommend to rezone that application for Christopher David Redmond in Little Mount Baptist Church, requesting a zone change from Ag 1 agricultural to R1 residential on 0.388 acres located at 6041 Little Mount Road, Highway 44. Recommended land use map in the comprehensive plan recommends mixed use, and the change will be in compliance with comprehensive plan. Commissioner Osborne second, Administrator Sweezy, called roll, and the motion carried. And this has been, matched for district number 5, which is good.
On this map, Angie, is it basically the little A square?
It's that little bitty A square, it's only like a
30
10
to
or
30
6,
concrete
it come from the old store that was there years ago. You probably remember, maybe like
Well,
everybody else.
Chris was telling me what it was.
Yeah, it's right next to the driveway, so instead of cutting that out, he just wanted to take it from church, and it was already on a separate deed, so the church didn't want to buy it from him, so that's why he had changed his own.
Okay. All right, well, that'll be,
I just have one, because these are, so the .338 acres, when I see that, it's confusing, it can be R1, but I know you're adding it to something else to make it a bigger lot. If they could somehow put that in there, that, okay, this is going to be in conjunction with this property, that, to make it in compliance, to make it an R1 lot.
Well, and that's talked about in the, when we have the hearing with the commissioners of what we were doing. It was actually that little piece we talked about.
Yeah, I see it on here, it's just that little piece of land, but
yeah, in the, where you included the minutes of the meeting, it talks about,
Yeah, in the
yeah, they're gonna,
minutes.
it talks about them being in conjunction with the church lot, but, I don't know how big church lot
it's, well, I don't know if it tells on
Well,
the
it's
map
that,
how many
actually,
acres
that
it
parking
is.
lot, that's a church, it's got, there's like a couple houses in between the church and the house. Back a while back, they bought property there, and put a parking lot there for the church. So it joins that where the old store was, that's where the concrete's at.
All right, do y'all have any other?
The top of page 2, and so he just wants to bring it into compliance and combine it with the house lot.
Oh, that's on the minutes, yes.
And it did say that there was one person there to speak, and they were in support of it. So. Well, they had stopped in and
Yeah,
signed
he
up.
actually stopped in and
Yeah.
signed, and he wrote on his paper, he really didn't want to speak, but he had no problems with it.
Yeah.
And that was Mr. Adcock.
Yeah. So, okay, all right. Do y'all have any other questions or comments on that? That'll be a first reading.
Yes.
So we will take care of that next go round. All right, and is that all you have, Angie?
That's all I got.
All right, well, thank you.
Thanks.
Short and sweet. Now I will jump back. Thank you. Jump back to page 29. Basically, it explains about, we're going to have an open meeting June 2nd at 8:30 to address the Land and Water Conservation Grant. If you look on page 30, it has a resolution that we do need to pass. And the resolution you can just pass with one reading. I have it, that it has a blank there where it's estimated cost, and we can have this discussion. We have had discussions in the office, and basically, I know I had Brian Spencer in, our Parks Director, and what we want to focus on with this is Ray Jewell 2.0, and getting it connected to the Ray Jewell under the bridge, which is a work in progress. And then where we have already done work, that can be part of our match. So I put a figure in there of 500,000, which means we'd have to spend 250,000 to get 250,000. And but we do need to pass a resolution. That's part of the process. Having that meeting next time is part of the process. Do y'all have any? We can come up with a different figure. It doesn't have to be 500,000, but if you think about the rock that was done already, we rented a dozer, and we hired an excavator to come in and do work on the grade and the drainage. Spent about 18 or 20,000 for that. Where we sold the grass seed, I mean, we're probably already 75,000 into that park. Easily that we could use for a match the way I understand it. So that's kind of how I concluded that 500,000.
But you're gonna use this to do the connection, right?
Everything. I mean, just whatever we do at the park. Now, it can be broad to where it's basically the parks now. It's not lights, but it'll be parking. It'll be facilities. It'll be walking paths. It'll be, the road, the parking lot blacktopping, all that could be included in that. So, and we'll actually cover a lot more about that at our meeting in June. But this, we have to have this in by June 15th, which is on Sunday. So it'll have to be on the 13th when we have to have it in. So,
Want to include bathrooms or something?
yeah, facilities. You could even, it even can fund, like, archery range. I mean, you can do tons and tons, you can have fishing access. That's something that's listed.
Is this available every year, or is this just something every once in a while?
Well, of course, I think it uses federal money, but the DLG provides it. When Ray Jewel 2.0 was purchased several years ago, they used this grant to purchase the land. That's why it stayed in bushes and they never did anything with it, because it cannot be used for any other purpose
Well,
except the park.
I was just thinking off the top of our head, or off my head, that we could be a little tight this year. We want to commit 250,000.
Well, but where I was, well, you know, it could be, you know, we can do less.
Well, and I was thinking, if it's something you can apply for every year, then we might see how we're running next year, apply for it again, maybe do another 150,000 in, maybe only do like 300. I'm just throwing it out for
I
conversation.
mean, I'm fine with whatever we do. I do know when I think they got 250,000 when they bought it. But anyhow, we could come up with a number,
That's what the court wants to do.
so,
My personal opinion, if you can count everything we're doing, so you're talking about as far as budgeted money,
Do it while we got the stuff on the books.
yeah, you know, say you might be out 150,000, but there's definitely a big need for it. Let's put money into our youth. If we can get it, I think we should do all we can to.
Motion approved.
the resolution, okay?
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Mike, second by Will, to approve the resolution for the Land and Water Conservation Fund with the estimated amount of 500,000 total, which we would be responsible for 50%. Again, it's an estimated amount. So any other discussion on this? Sorry, not looking your way, Zach.
How does that work, grant work? Say we do get that and get started, and then we only spend 300,000, I guess you only match that part.
Well, I believe they'll match, you know, what you use, what you can prove. Right, that sound right, Doug? So, I mean, it's new to me too.
We're not obligated to spend 250,000.
I don't believe so.
Whatever we spend, they'll match,
Yeah, up, right,
up to 250.
right, that's my understanding. So, and again, you can count volunteer work, so like, if, let's say the baseball association went in there and spent some of their money to build fields, that could go towards our match. So, again, that's my understanding. All right, any other discussion on this resolution?
We need them to put up about $150,000 for the lights.
Well, they would like to do it, but the trouble is, the lights cost $250.
That's
So,
a scam.
All right, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. So we got that part covered. It looks like I'm jumping around. Now I'm back catching up where we were. The EMS stretchers request. Robert?
We're wanting to replace 4 of our scoop stretchers and 4 of the pediatric backboards we have. That's the total cost. We still have some funds in our EMS equipment and supply line to cover.
Where do you use the scoop stretcher?
Mainly used for like hip fractures and stuff like that. It's a little device that splits in half and you put it on and it locks back underneath them. The ones we have are about 20, 25 years old and they're rusted out about, they get pretty banged up. These are polymer and aluminum and they don't.
Motion to approve.
Second. All right, we have a motion by Mike, seconded by Zach, to approve replacing 4 scoop stretchers and 4 pediatric boards at a cost of $67.91 and 96 cents. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. We're good, Robert.
If you haven't seen Facebook, the rectifier project started today. We started up in Mount Eden, we at least got mounted on the pole. We didn't realize how far away the breaker box was from that siren all the way across the building, so they're gonna come back out, and it's gonna take a little bit of more, electrical work to get the electric ran across the building to the breaker boxes, but it's going, it started. So hopefully in the next few weeks, we should have it. They're only able to come out here once or twice a week for 3 hours at a time, so it's gonna take a little bit.
The good news is that they're all still working.
They're all still running on battery.
Yeah, when they leave to go home, it's working. It's either fixed or working like it was.
There's one at Mount Eden still running on batteries, and they'll still run on batteries until they put that breaker to put it directly on power, and then they'll be battery back up. So
Now, will that be an added cost to us for the,
it should be, it's all factored into the total cost of labor that you all approved already. So,
okay, all right.
and the guy today seemed to think that we may come under that amount, so it'd be cheaper. So,
All right.
depends on number of hours and all that stuff that's involved with it. They kind of estimated how on the hours that it's going to require to come up with their total cost.
Okay. All right,
They're being installed, it's going. So.
that's good, and I know the community appreciates all of our work. Next, we've got Sheriff Flock, safety quotes. Chris, if you'd like to represent these.
So what, we were asked by the court to get an estimate on what 2 additional cameras would be, and that's what you'll have in front of you. I did forget to add the additional current contract which y'all requested last time. We currently have 2 cameras and we pay for $3,000 a piece, so $6,000 annually. These 2 additional, one would be $3,000 a year, the other one is $3,500. The only difference is one's a flex camera, meaning we can move it around the county wherever we choose to, and the other one would be another stationary camera. We're totally leave it up to the court on this decision. We value Flock, it's a useful tool, we definitely benefit from it, but we'll totally leave it up to you all as far as we choose to go forward.
So our renewal for the next year will be $13,650.
$13,500. Should be, $12,500, I'm sorry. This should be $6,500 for the 2 new cameras plus $6,000. for
The one I'm looking at here says
It has an implementation fee in there that I've tried to get them to take off, that's their installation fee.
So what is it? 12,000?
$12,500 annually for 4 cameras. 3 would be stationary, 1 would be mobile.
So these are, we've done had them a year.
This will be 4 cameras, one of them being moved.
So these 2 are due, we need to pay now, but we've done had these a year. See, we bought these in '24 when this invoice was paid.
So that payment will be coming up, or may have already been paid.
Yes, all right, so this one's coming up to $6,000, and then we'll be adding another $3,000 camera plus $3,500 camera that you can move. So this will be 4 cameras for $12,500 for 1 more year.
I think the implementation fee is like $600.
But now,
If we were just to buy a movable camera this year, and cost to buy another stationary camera next year, is that not good like that?
just add 1 camera this year.
It's like the one that can move around.
Add it.
Well, if we do that, it doesn't matter, but when we did these, so if we pick another stationary one, is it gonna take 3 months for them to put it up again, probably?
It all depends on if there's an existing pole, or if they have to get a pole, or if they have to, the state to approve it.
Well, Will's thinking that prorate their contract, if we're paying for months when I get it.
Yeah, that's what it was. Well, I'll just.
I know we talked to Andrew about some, but the stationary one, I mean, do you know about what y'all's thoughts are, or where you would want it?
The third one, probably in the Elk Creek area. That's what we get hit the most with a lot of vehicle break-ins and thefts. They could do a study on their maps to see where the existing ones are. There's a city base or 2, I think Noble has some. And then we'll also look at surrounding counties to see where those are located on, near the county line.
Well, there's some on 44, so ours is on the new road, go across the line. I thought Andrew said he was gonna talk to the HOA at Top Point, whatever happened there.
So for sure, we're gonna pay 650 implementation or not?
I've tried to get them to take it off and they won't.
So it would be 12.5 plus 650
For the first year.
for this year.
Well, this,
If we bought two more.
Two new ones, yes. But I don't know if there's, I don't know if the implementation fee is just a set fee regardless of the number of cameras, or if they program based on the number of cameras purchased.
It would look like we're an existing customer, so we shouldn't charge us that.
I agree.
I like the idea of going on getting the flex camera, $3,500 and getting that, and we can move that. Like, we had some issues out towards Victor, out in Mike's area, to be set out there, catch some stuff, and when those other stuff are in my area, or Will's area, or whatever, it can be moved, it can be monitored. So, I'll make a motion to buy the flex camera for $3,500, and whatever else fee that goes with that, it ain't broke down like that, but
second,
All right, we have a motion by Zach, and seconded by Mike, to purchase the one flex camera. That is 3,500 plus the implementation fee. Is there any discussion? Do we want to extend the two that we have also?
well, I'm assuming we've already paid this, because we still got access to them, right? Yeah, so we've,
Until they bill us, All right,
yeah, they've gotten a lot of good use out of them, and I don't see it's an expensive cost to us, but I think it's a real good tool for them, so.
I would have hoped we'd already paid it, because it was due on the 19th of April.
even though if we paid it, Doug,
It says pay terms net 30, which is
to a flock safety,
This is last year's invoice.
yeah, that's last year's invoice.
oh,
I don't recall seeing a flock invoice come across my desk this year yet, but
if it comes up, we'll.
I'm not remember seeing.
Yeah, I
one
mean, I
either.
don't see why we wouldn't keep on using it, I just think the flex, if y'all wanted to maybe contact him when we order the flex thing, maybe see if they can do a free study to see where a stationary camera would maybe benefit us the next go around or something, maybe next year or something, we'll look about.
Well, the school has one too, right? Right there at 44?
the only one on 44 that I know is up by the dog area.
And that's cities.
The city's on both of those. I'm sorry, there are two. There's one closer down.
Oh, the school
has
somewhere.
to pay for those.
Yeah.
That's through the city.
But after we do this, we'll have what? Y'all got two, and then we'll have this movable one, and the counties, or the city's got two, so that's 5.
Noble has 2 or maybe 3.
Okay.
So there'll be 7 or 8 cameras total in the county.
I don't think we'll need any more stations.
That's pretty good.
Good start.
In the school,
The school has
Yeah,
some
the
good.
city, yes.
All right,
I'm pretty sure the school pays for that one, I do.
They might,
all right, so we have a motion on the floor to do to buy the one movable camera with the fees that goes along with it. Is there any other discussion? All right, we'll take a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Chris. You got anything else?
That's it.
All right, good deal. Next on the agenda is the sanitation district vacancy. I've got a handout here. We got a guy interested, and he's got a good resume. I know this fella, but I didn't know a lot about him, and I asked Bill Drury to get us a resume. And
That's a lot line up there.
here's, or I don't know that resume needs to be in the minutes or not, but he talks about a fella. But anyway, I think Mr. Kingsolver's term ends and he doesn't want to be reappointed. So Gene Balter had agreed to serve. And you can see in his resume, I thought it was pretty darn impressive. 44 years of engineering work. So he's agreed to serve a 4-year term. What's that? Yes.
He looks real serious in his photo.
Yeah. I know he's done a lot of work with tourism, I think, Catherine, I know he worked at the fair at the booth.
We just worked together on a grant for the Sticker Foundation.
Okay.
Yeah, he's real easy to work with, real
Yeah.
organized.
He also does election poll work as well.
Yes, he does.
So, depending on which location you may have seen there.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like you've got a lot of experience working with a lot of three-letter agencies and state agencies, it'd be nice.
I'll make a motion that we approve the appointment of Eugene N. Walter to the sanitation district to fill the vacancy.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Dan, seconded by Zach, to approve the appointment of Gene Balter for a 4-year term on the sanitation district, beginning 5/14/25 and ending 5/14/29. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. I've got some sanitation district minutes that were turned in time, but we didn't give them in the book for one reason or the other. But I have these for your information. Let's see. There's 2 copies going that way. Keep going. I got on the agenda item, a seasonal temp hire for park. I don't have a cover sheet in the book about it, but I interviewed a fellow today, and he's going back to college in August. And I know we discussed it at the last meeting, but I would like to hire, and he's already met the hiring requirements. He actually did them today, and everything turned up positive. But it's Justin Hertzinger. Again, he's a college fella, and he's actually the son of Karen Clark, full disclosure. But he applied, and he met, like I said, met the hiring requirements, and he would work for parks part-time, full part-time, seasonal, and then he would also work anywhere else he's needed.
What'd you say?
And he understands that. What's that?
What'd you say, full disclosure?
Yeah, full disclosure. He is Karen Clark's son.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Karen Clark that works in the office, he's her son. But anyhow, I mentioned that I had another applicant that they had requested to work at the road department. And this is just part-time. So I would like a motion to go ahead and hire Justin Kurtzinger part-time through August to work for parks or as needed at $17.50 an hour. So, sorry. Have a motion by Zach, second by Mike, to approve hiring Justin Kurtzinger for a part-time, full part-time until August, working at parks and other as needed at a rate of $17.50, and that he has met his hiring requirements. So he could start tomorrow, if you're all good with that. And, all right, any other discussion? And then I also told him that on Monday mornings, they'll need extra help with recycling. So he's ready to go wherever he's needed. All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Thank you for that. Next in your book, the jail contract with Bullitt County, it's on page 42. We're kind of having I don't want to say a race to the bottom, but it is good that competition cuts prices. We have a contract with Shelby County at 36. Another county had given us a contract at 32. So then we asked Bullitt County about it, and they agreed at 32, and they could take up to 35 prisoners if you need. And I think, think about it this way: if we house 1,000 nights of inmates a month, and we easily do, that's $4,000 a month, $4. So, from what we have in jail any particular night times 30 days in a month, I think we have an average of a little over 1,000. I know Cheryl always likes to stay out of jail and won't have to pay this money, but yeah, easily we would save $4,000 a month by having this cheaper price. And Bullitt County has agreed, And in fact, you can see their judge and jailer has already agreed to it, so I need to present this to you guys for approval.
Make a motion that we enter into an agreement with the Bullitt County Jailer for a rate of $32 per prisoner per day.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Dan, seconded by Zach, to approve a contract for 1 year for the Bullitt County Jail to house our prisoners at a fee of $32 per night. And again, this will be effective until July 1 of 2026. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Thank you all for that. The reimbursement AOC facility contract is next on page 45. Doug and I was discussing this, and basically we need to vote and approve these allocations. On page 49, we get basically $31,000 to run the annex. Again, they pay us all of that, and it's based on the space and so forth. All right, and then
do these in separate motions?
what do you think, Doug? Do them together? I think we can do them together because it's all AOC. And then the second building, which is the old courthouse, we run 0.521%. So it has an amount of $47,928.40. And again, that first one was $31,390. So I entertain a motion to accept the agreement with the AOC on reimbursement.
So moved.
All right. We have a motion by Zach, seconded by Mike, to approve the AOC facility reimbursement contract with the two amounts mentioned, $31,390 and $47,928.40. And any discussion on this?
I just want to include for the annex and courthouse or whatever.
Yes, yeah, that's right, Doug. And it, in the motion include for the annex and the percentage of the courthouse that they utilize. All right, any other questions on that? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right, I got one thing here I want to pass out. We had discussed doing some blacktopping out at around the recycling center. Y'all remember we talked about it last year. We was going to vote to do it and wound up we didn't get it done in time. And then we had some discussions with the city about Industrial Drive. We actually voted to blacktop that, but I'm sorry that y'all's picture's not in color. But if you kind of see, I'll show you. You see Spears Drive. Now Spears Drive is a city street. It's a city street. And the parking lot in front of Roberts building, you see the EMS building right there in kind of the center of the page. All right, then all around the recycling center, over where people park to put their stuff away, these trailers that's up here at the top, if you can see where my finger's pointing, that's gravel, and we need to make that safe to be, it needs to be permanent instead of gravel, because it has a little slope there. But basically, and I called Todd, may go give us a bid on a per ton blacktopping, and that bid is still good for blacktopping up until the end of our fiscal year. But where this is not necessarily blacktopping out on the road, it's going to be some pools and backups and so forth, and then they have to do some edge keys, which are going to grind the concrete down, or grind the blacktop down where it'll have a flat spot instead of a rough spot. But they gave us an estimate of $50,100. And if we wanted to do all the part in front of the EMS garage, which is this part in here, where these kind of, where I got the X, y'all see it on your map too, where I got the X part. They want an additional $7,000 to do that. I guess the question to Doug is, where would we, if we voted to do this tonight? I know we voted to do it once before. You got the money in an account for this?
I mean, gonna be general fund, of course, I mean, and that, parking lot around it,
That's like that before.
They, I mean, they're like,
I talked to him when I was down there, I've got on the measure, I always said, but it's happened to be down there. And, I think it's Brown about another matter, but anyway, the rep that got up there bidding the work, he actually wanted to have a film machine out there, this was budget, they were wanting to kind of, if we wanted to do this, the way I took it to him was kind of, we needed to kind of get on the ball, so hadn't really got started on doing anything big roads yet, but once that happened, it's like on the back burner.
What you want to do on that?
The EMS parking accounts from a couple potholes. Is that parking lot that bad?
That area in front of the core bay apparatus,
Yeah.
sunk about 4 inches. It's falling apart there, so.
I mean, all this has been paid, and everything that's just been paid, just put the piece together on the road department, and everything professionally done. And all this that's been outlined, a lot of it aside from,
115 tons of asphalt for someone else's road there, that's a lot of money.
well, I'm not, I don't know about the road, I'm not too concerned about the road, but everything other than the road. It's ours, to take care of.
Well, I think it's just paint and spirit guy.
it's not in good shape. It's in bad shape.
Isn't that a
I
city
agree
street?
100%, that's horrible shape.
I mean, am I wrong on that? Is it a city street?
It's a city street.
I don't even.
We voted the blacktop industrial drive last year, knowing it was a city street then. It is, I mean, Spears is twice as bad as industrial.
I think though, I think if we could patch the big potholes just in front of our affected areas, then, I would hate to pave it, because then the city might just,
Assuming we're gonna care for it.
assume we're gonna take care of all this stuff.
Well, then let's go to unannex it and take it over. I don't know that we can do that, but
I don't know, the process is simple.
I don't think it is either.
I wish you would.
I mean, there's nothing on that road.
So
that the
loose.
city-
I know that it's not that easy either. I'm sorry, Dave.
There's nothing on that road that the city has any, I mean, they don't have any buildings back there or anything.
Well, I want to take care of our private,
But here's the deal with that too, so the city does not have anything back there, but the EMS serves the city, the recycling center serves the city, the health department serves the city.
Oh, I agree.
The health department is our building, too.
It's a city road, I'm just saying that.
Well, I'm just saying, that's all,
but it's not just county people that benefit from those entities that are along that road.
so in my opinion,
buildings are on sewer.
the county people and the county tax base maintain the upkeep
county-
of one of these. The city ought to at least blacktop their own.
Blacktop the road, yeah.
I don't disagree with that course,
The same with the roads in front of McDonald's and all.
I totally, yeah.
Well, no, they are terrible, but those are actually individually owned by the businesses. And in the future, we could have an opportunity to address that with the city, with the county, with those landowners. That would be a hill to climb, but
Was there, because it is not just straight full, was there an upcharge on paving any of this? Or we are still on our contract? So what I'm trying to say is if we're taking 115 tons, it's gonna take it off of Spears Lane.
so you have to take off $82 a ton. Because that's what the surface cost, I think it's 82, the base is 78, something like that. That's the cheapest part of blacktop is Spears,
Oh, I don't disagree.
you know.
It takes off $9,430.
So you would be, basically 47,000 if you blacktop everything else. And
What was
didn't
the
do
total
Spears.
tonnage in that bid?
Okay, well, you can add it up on that picture.
I didn't know if they had it on this.
It don't add up, they're missing part of it. I think it's 400 something ton, you got 100, well, if you drop off Spears, You've got 75 and 90 and 15 and 75, so that's 150, that's 240 plus 75. How much? 240 and 75, be 315.
But that probably doesn't have the additional $7,000 tonnage in there, does it?
No, it doesn't have that, that would be additional tonnage.
So that's 25,000. $82.
Well, yeah, 82, well, part of this is a base, which is a little cheaper.
That's even better, so.
Well,
I mean, I come up with
ain't much cheaper.
25,000 plus, if you did the 7,000.
I make a motion to only pay what we own at the EMS, both areas, and the recycling center, both areas.
That paid it all except Spears, basically.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, yeah.
I'll second that.
Or what cost?
Yeah, what cost?
I wasn't gonna attach dollar figures to it, just because it's gonna be a fluid situation, but I don't want, I think,
Well, we can put a not to exceed if y'all want.
yeah, well, what's that figure? I don't know what y'all ended up over there.
Well, was that 50,000 even?
It's 50,100 plus 7,000. If you did the.
Oh, so that 50 is not plus that.
Yeah, it's in addition to, you gotta add 7, so it'd be
50.
Not to exceed 60,000.
Well, it should be, how much you say, 90-something hundred?
Take like 9,400 off of that.
57,000.
Take 9,400 off of 57,000, so it'd be not to exceed 50 would cover it.
Not to exceed
50
50,000.
would cover it.
50,000. That's my motion. Everything, pay everything except for Spears Drive, not to exceed $50,000.
I'll second that.
All right.
Already did, I think.
All right, well, we got a motion by Mike, and a second by Zach and Dan, to pave all of this, not to exceed 50,000, with the exception of paving the Spears Lane. All right, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. We'll go ahead and get that done. Okay, next, radios, MOU with city, county, and fire.
Can I speak to that?
You can, and then I want Corey to speak to it also.
We, speak with Nathan and Andrew and Brian, we're nowhere near a point of needing to move forward with the MOU. We haven't even got a scope of work and all that stuff, we're expecting that next week. So once we figure out a scope of work and everything, then we'll move forward with the MOU. We just prefer to table this right now.
Okay. I know Corey and I had some discussions about it, and,
I mean, we had many questions based on
Who drafted it?
It was drafted by Nathan and sent to.
the fire department folks drafted it.
yeah.
We're just not, we're not at that point to worry about an MOU right now. We just want to table it for now until we get a scope of work.
Well, I mean, if we ain't got a vote to do, we can vote to table it, it's fine, but if we wanted to let him dive into it.
That's fine. I just want to let y'all know that.
If we get the scope of work, that'll be, get that to us, and then we can just all go next week, get that and our questions and changes.
We just want to put a cart before the horse, so.
All right. Good motion to lay it on the table.
I'll make that motion.
Need a second.
Sorry.
Well, hold on, if you second his motion to table, we can't debate it no more.
Well, I'm trying to find it, there was something in there where we got turned, it didn't make sense to me, while we turned ownership over to something back to the city.
For $1?
Yeah, it didn't make sense to me.
Well,
I figured what it was.
I read through it and underlined a lot of it. Basically, it's going to be a third. There's some equipment that'll be turned over to us for $1. There's, like the city, I think, has to buy, the fire department's going to buy a generator, and then they're going to let the city have it for $1.
Yeah.
That's what it is right there, so it's right there, for the physical court agrees to install a building and generator, 50 reach tire, site, it's on our own expense, and then turn ownership over to the city for $1.
But basically, we're not buying a generator plus paying a third. It'll be a total amount, including the generator, that we all split by thirds.
Yeah, once we.
I mean, we ain't even voted to do this,
Yeah.
so
I know.
that's way,
Yep.
It's way too far ahead, but I agree, I just struck you some stuff in there, we can definitely keep it and do it.
We're just not there yet, so that's fine.
All right, so.
All right, so we got a motion by Mike to table this agenda item and seconded by Zach.
Right.
This neither debatable nor amendable, best I remember. So we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor of tabling this agenda item, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. So whenever we bring it up again, we'll have to take it from the table or just put it on the agenda.
How about the,
It's a good time to discuss if you'd like to discuss.
right, well, I'm gonna pass these out as is relevant to this. I've been talking to another guy, he's considered an expert in the field of different kinds of radios and works and installs systems for emergency management and other emergency services in different counties, including a big 5-tower deal he just did for Breckenridge County. Before we go too far down this, I know that a lot of emergency services here have gotten together and they've talked to somebody and they want to do a P25 simulcast system and this, that, and other. But I talked to this gentleman here and he'd like to come out and evaluate what we've got countywide. He wants to study the topography of the county. I know we used to have a Next Edge system. He wants to evaluate that and see what the operating condition is of that. I'm under the understanding right now that a lot of the radios that we have will speak both P25 and Next Edge. And if everybody wants to get all on one channel and talk about like a CB radio, I don't really care. But I think we ought, we get a second and third opinion on a set of truck tires around here. And I just think it'd be good to have a third party come in and do an evaluation. And part of this estimate is he would evaluate the infrastructure at the 250-foot tower, and you do coverage assessments and then compare the coverage between the county tower and the other city tower that's being used, and advise his findings and provide recommendations based on the findings to the fiscal court. And it would just be a second evaluation, and he proposed this estimate of $26.50 based off 2 days. If it takes him 2 days to do it, obviously if it just takes him 1 day, then it won't be near that much. This would be the maximum amount, but he feels confident that he wants to come in and he wants to meet with Robert and Andrew and Nathan and everybody and see what their concerns are, the areas are that they have with concerns as far as coverage, and see if there's other options that may serve the same purpose of getting everybody to talk and that can talk confidently without any, obviously I don't want any lapse in coverage. I want to make an improvement for you guys. I know how bad it sucks when your radio doesn't work and it's all hitting the fan. But I just want to make sure that we are providing that tool to you guys as cost effective as we can, because we're talking about a large sum of money. And I think that the large sum of money that we're talking, this $26.50 is a small drop in the bucket just to get a second opinion on what it could possibly save us when we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I'd like to make a motion that we approve this estimate from Veterinary Communications for up to $2,650.50, so he can come out and do an evaluation.
Can I speak? Well, wait, see if we get a second or not. If we get a second, then we'll speak to it.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion by Mike, seconded by Will, to contract with Bednar to do this evaluation for a cost not to exceed $26.50. So now I'll open up the floor to discussion, and I will invite Robert.
The only issue, the reason we went down the road we went down is about 70 to 80% of our portable radios will not do Next Edge. We have a very limited number of radios that will do both. the majority of the rest of our radios will only do VHF P25. That's kind of why we're kind of, so, you know, if we go down the road to the next Edge project, that's a lot of radios that are gonna have to be purchased.
Well, I'm gonna say that this guy, he's not 100% next edge. He's P25 too, but he said that there may be other options with P25, but he wants to get feet on the ground and just provide a secondary set of eyes.
I just want to give you some,
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
on that, we would have to buy a lot of equipment.
I mean, we could buy $200,000 worth of equipment, do $50,000 worth of upgrades to the system, or we could spend $600,000. But I'm not saying that that what you're proposing is not the way that we're gonna go. I just wanted a second estimate.
No, I get it. That's kind of why we went down the path we've been going down, is because of the equipment costs.
Who y'all getting this through now, what y'all gonna propose to us?
What's the name of that?
What's it?
Vincent?
Yeah, is in Indiana.
What's the name of what company?
Vincent.
Oh, it's Vincent.
Yeah.
But basically, we have contributed $1,000, I think, that they did this same evaluation or a similar evaluation. They did an evaluation that we participated in on thirds with the city and the fire department. And they came back with the stuff that I think I already gave you all that, where it had the spots that weren't covered good, and then it had, if we made these changes at these three places, that everybody was covered good, but it had that estimated cost of potentially $400,000 to $600,000. And that's where we got to talking about splitting it up. So basically, is this repeating what we done, or is this all different equipment that's going to be cheaper?
Well, both. It's repeating what, but he said there may be different options to maintain P25. There may be different options that would be cheaper to go with next edge and still get everybody on board. There may be a combination. He feels certain that he can provide a cheaper solution, and we do not have to sacrifice coverage.
The bad, well, let me say the bad part, and then we'll discuss again. Here could potentially be the bad part. Right now, we could go in third, 200 or less. Let's just say 200,000 or less, if it costs the most that we're projecting. We would go in a third. If we went our own way, we may not have buy-in with the city and the fire department. And I wonder how we'll address that.
So if it goes, it's not their way, they're not gonna buy in for the public safety of these guys?
No, that's not what it says.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Well,
I don't know anything about radios, and I'm out of my league, but I'll have to say with Mike, we buy a $2,000 set of tires for an air conditioner unit. I mean, we get multiple bids and.
Well, we just put on getting bids, we're still waiting, we don't even know the exact number now, what we're looking at now. There's other companies,
There's only one company.
yeah, there's other companies who do the exact same thing Vincent's doing.
Because what we did is, we had Vincent come in, they did the radio study to figure out where the coverages and
the
everything.
study belongs to us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Others can use our study and bid on the equipment.
Because the plan is to get the scope of work, figure out what needs to be done, and then push that out for bid and let other companies bid on work that needs to be done.
So couldn't this guy bid with the study we had?
Well, my argument is, it's like, let's say that this company is bidding that you need a 20-ton air conditioner. And this other guy comes in and says, no, you can cover it with a 10-ton air conditioner and make an improvement. So instead of getting bids on a 20-ton air conditioner, you get bids on a 10-ton air conditioner.
I think this is more or less a bid to see a recommendation of what the county needs to not have dead spots.
I just want to make sure that we can't go a different direction. I mean, I want to make sure that what if we could go a different direction, still cover the county for less money? Not less money to somebody doing the same thing, but what if it's something different, but everybody's still covered? I don't want anybody, I want the improvements, I don't want a lapse in coverage. I want to make significant improvements, but I want to make sure what if this guy says, well, yeah, what this guy is saying will work, but I can also make everybody whole and do it, make 100% improvement for $300,000 all in. Now, then, but it's different, it's not apples to apples, so, I want another opinion. I believe, I talked to him, and they just put up a 5-tower system to cover all of Breckenridge County, with all the generators and buildings, and putting up antennas and everything, for $300,000.
All right, then let's get him.
And I'm just
I'll
saying,
vote to get him, because again, all we're gonna be out is $2,600.
and I'm not saying we're gonna go with him, but he could provide us an option that could save us a lot of money.
Yeah, I agree that, I mean, it's not gonna hurt to spend the $2,650.50 to determine, to get 2 different options that we can look at. Maybe, maybe we can save money, maybe we can't. Maybe it's a better system, maybe it's not, but at least we'll know, for sure.
Right. So people that looked at this study before, this is my question, Robert, thank you. The people that did the study before, so like their communications, or like their communications company, or are they a communications engineer firm? What's?
Do they install these systems? Well, they'll be one bid on it.
They engineer them, they install them, everything, they do it all.
I think the whole argument is, and me and Mike has had a discussion on this, and I think you agree, it might not have been the best discussion me and you've ever had. But it is what it is, and that's all right. We in the business of having hard discussions.
Well,
We signed up for this.
we got a difference of,
Yeah.
and here's my, I'll say this, I don't care if they don't talk to each other. Whatever they want to do, as far as how they want to operate their radio system, I don't care. Whatever they want to do, they can figure out what's best for them. But when we're spending the money, we have to do the due diligence to make sure that we can give them all the tools they need at the cheapest price.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. I guess my biggest question is, and I'm like you, I don't know, I don't have the vocabulary on these radio stuff. I don't know what next gen is. I guess it stands for next generation.
Like Nelson County has next gen. They're looking at adding several tower sites, basically kind of doing the same thing we're doing. They're adding additional tower sites because they're having issues with handheld coverage, stuff like that. So they've purchased a bunch of new radios, and they're moving forward with that project. Shelby County, they're going to a simulcast system like what we're looking at. They're adding some tower sites to try to improve their handheld coverage.
Sounds like no matter what kind of system you
If the radios, like the next gen, like he was saying, some of our radios are next gen capable. There's a lot that's not. So it's just,
Well, there's different things, and like, I want to get this.
it's not easy. I guess it's not easy. It's no easy answer.
Yeah, right.
It's going to be.
They're both digital platforms. It's just kind of like, what, you want to go Dish Network or you want to go DirecTV?
Yeah.
Right? And from my research I've been doing, P25 was federally recommended, but P25 was not federally mandated. So there is other options, and everybody that I've talked to that considers himself an expert in this field says that, like, P25 is like the main price, right? And because of that, every component to them is the most expensive. And there are other options out there that still operate on the digital platform, whether they're not P25, could be a lot cheaper. But this guy's not proposing, he's not going against P25. He may have cheaper solutions to upgrade the current P25 system that we got now where they can incorporate everybody, or there may be another way totally, but he doesn't know until he gets out here and puts boots on the ground. And then
Well, like I said, the whole thing, so like, I have no issues doing this. I feel the same way as everybody else. I mean, I feel like we get multiple bids for everything else or whatever, we should go like a multiple sites. I don't know. My biggest thing is, I don't know if that's one already, but, there's civil engineers, there's architects, there's IT specialists, it's the people that we're hiring to do this study to figure out this scope of work. Is that what these people are, or are they the geek squad or the excavators that install the work and it's just business? I can go out and I can do a job now, and tell you how I'm gonna do it.
This guy
And
here
this is what I'm gonna do. Or, and then Mike's gonna come do the job, he's gonna do it his way, this is how he's gonna do it, his quote's gonna vary by that.
Now, these people do the
When
same.
we call, like the pavilion, we got a civil engineer, we got a civil set of plans. That's what it has to be, the code, or whatever to work, down to the dotted I, down to the dotted T, we know this is what has to happen to make whatever work, and that's just what I wanna make sure we're
This
not.
guy's not just an installer, he comes up with a full plan, the engineering of it, and he does the coverage, and well, this guy, when he said when he gets done, he's gonna come in here, and he's gonna give a full proposal to us about what he found out, cost analysis on this option versus that option versus this option, and I just thought it would be a good way for us to just kind of make sure we're going down the right path without this money.
Like I said, I don't disagree with getting somebody else to look at it, I just wanna make sure that we're not gonna do this and then we're gonna do it again and then do it.
Well, I'd say what you're saying is kind of right. Every company's gonna have a difference of opinion, I would say.
That's what I kind of feel like.
You're just going off of when whoever presents it, who you trust is
That's what I,
the best option.
yeah, that's not nothing against this guy or
The same
whoever you
reason,
got.
like you said, buying a new air conditioner.
Yeah.
They come in here and everybody's got a different air conditioner unit. Gotta try to figure out which one's the best.
Me and him was-
one for you.
For both of them.
Me and him was talking on the phone today, and he kind of put it like this, let's just look at a radio like a truck. You need a truck to get your job done and go from point A to point B and not have any problems. The question is, you know, do you need the Ford Platinum edition, or do you just need the King Ranch edition, or you just need the XLT edition, because they both get you down the road. And I said, well, we got the budget for a Ford Focus, so what can you get for that? And he said, well, I'm sure we can come up with something that will work with the same amount of coverage. And he said, I might, come back and say they're on the right track too. So it may just be that simple, so.
All right, any other discussion? We have a motion on the floor to contract with Ventnor to do this evaluation. And so we'll go ahead, and Madam Clerk, if you would call a roll, please, on the vote.
Squire Elder,
Yes.
Judge Travis,
Yes.
Squire Travis, absent, Squire Cotton,
Yes.
Squire Stubbs,
Yes.
Squire Ferris.
Yes.
All right, it passes. Now, I would like to make sure that we include Robert and Andrew, and Nathan, and City.
Right, well, what I'm
Whenever they
gonna,
come.
I'm gonna give this guy, Robert's number, and then they can orchestrate on what time works best to get everybody together.
We're not trying to,
I think I just never run with John.
You know John Bettner? Okay. Well, can you call John?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
I don't think we're trying to overdo what you all, the hard work you all have done, we're just trying to make sure that we're getting the best bang for the buck.
and it's gotta be apples to apples.
Yeah.
You know.
And we, like I said, we're under the bidding process anyways, as long as it's apple to apples, I'm good with it.
Right.
I don't want to get a T-move version of something that's gonna, make sure we get good equipment, stuff that's gonna last us.
Well, the main apple that I want to compare to apple is coverage.
Yeah, that's the reason we're having this conversation, is to get coverage, yes.
I don't really care about how the coverage is attained, as long as it's reliable equipment and the coverage is there. That's kind of where, if whatever would entail, if we have, I'm trying to really put this through. I'm not saying that we're gonna switch from the P25 proposal. But if this guy says, look, you can switch to something else, and the whole thing only costs half the price, we'd be fools not to do it. And that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, my just question is how can he have something magical that somebody else doesn't have?
Well, other people have them.
Okay. I mean,
Just not in our surrounding county.
Well, we'll figure it out.
yeah, we'll get there.
But, yeah, I'm just saying, let's get John.
Timetable on it? I mean, because we've already got this about ready to bid, but it's
Yeah,
been
but
so long, 60 days or
Well, John's
whatever.
ready to go, it'll happen soon.
I think that we're not, this is not much behind where we are. I mean, it's a little behind where we are, but it's
Well,
not
the
a
other
lot
thing, they're
behind
still
where we
not
are.
letting anybody come here and talk to us. I mean, all
That was planning on happening too. We're just still waiting on the numbers. We don't have everything yet, so we weren't gonna.
I mean, basically what has taken place is our 911 committee, we've been meeting since 2 years ago, talking about our needs, and we've all kind of landed on the needs are, we need to be able to communicate in these dead spots. So collectively, you know, we're not at the point to come yet. That's why I say this guy he ain't too far behind where we already are. So,
I'll reach out to him and let him know that, go ahead and do the.
And I'll tell him you're the contact guy to get over.
yeah,
But I definitely want,
as the EM director,
I definitely want everybody involved, because I want John to hear the opinions of all the emergency services, as far as their concerns with coverage. And then that way we can make, he knows exactly what your concerns are, what the problem areas are. And it may just be, y'all get together one day, spend, have lunch, talk about it. He's gonna evaluate the old system that we had, and then, he'll probably, everybody get different cars, we'll go around talking and seeing what works, what doesn't work, and set another, and go from there.
all right, sounds good. We're good to go on it. All right, next item on the agenda is our, the bills and transfers, invoices, bills and transfers. And then we will have an executive session after this, short executive session.
We do need to add another transfer on doing this blacktop or whatever. We got a line item, capital projects other, and a transfer 55,000. I think if we pay for this study, it's gonna be done, and then the 50,000 for blacktop, we can take from capital projects to other, and we'll take it from I think there's another capital projects line we had that was American Recovery Act, that was their funds or whatever. 55, and I'll email Laura in the morning.
Give her the numbers.
55,000, the numbers, so.
All right, so it'll be the bills, the transfers in addition to the, how many thousand, 55?
55,000.
55,000.
And I just rounded it up to that because the blacktop usually goes over just a little bit, and then the 2650 or whatever we talked about on this radio, so.
Of course, again, since the end of the fiscal year, the money in each line is tighter. That's why we have so many transfers this time of year. So,
Anything to point out, I ain't seen anything,
I will say that I have no plan. I'm gonna have another plan to present to you all. I'm not planning to renew UniFirst at all. We've got it worked out with our current cleaning system, which is total commercial cleaning on roads and things. Got that worked out. It's gonna be minimal cost. On the uniforms, I'm planning to present to you all in the near future. Probably need it on the next agenda item, actually, next meeting. Yeah, well, what I'm planning to do is we'll have a clothing allowance, kind of like we have a shoe allowance. People get their own clothes and do whatever they wish up to an amount. And but I do want embroidered, like Andrew has, like Robert has, because our parks people need identification, our road people need identification, maintenance needs.
more annually and dress codes.
To a degree, yes, to a degree. And I've talked to I think every party. I've talked to road, parks, maintenance, recycling folks. I think that's about it on, because they get their own clothes and the sheriff gets their own. So, they're all good with that. And we have gotten bids from others, Springfield Laundry came in and gave us some bids on rental clothing, and we can still do an allowance. We can do an allowance that's several $100s and still be cheaper. And, so, you know, I told one guy, I said, you'll have to wash your clothes at home. He said, I have to wash my clothes at home anyway when I get them new that smell like oil. And, which I thought that was quite disappointing. So, but I don't plan to operate with UniFirst or Centos after July 1.
Well, I make a motion to pay the bills and pay the transfer.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Zach, second by Mike, to pay the bills and do the transfers and pay the invoices. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Anything else before we go in executive session? And I don't foresee that we have to make any decisions out after. Laura, you can go home. I won't run everybody out of here, except Robert.
Well, I make a motion to go into executive session for something, whatever.
It's KRS 61-810, F.
Okay, yeah.
So, is there a second?
Second.
All right, I have a motion by Zach, seconded by Mike, to go into executive session, as per KRS 61-810, letter F, which is discussions or hearing, might lead to appointment, discipline, or dismissal going forward. This is neither debatable or amendable. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right,
Everybody else get out.
everybody out. Thank you all, except for Robert.